Understanding pH, the language of chemistry. Before we understand blood pH, we need to understand what pH actually means. The term pH stands for potential of hydrogen. It's a way to measure how acidic or basic a solution is. In other words, how many hydrogen ions it contains. The pH scale runs from 0 to 14. 0 means highly acidic, like battery acid. 14 means highly basic, like bleach. And 7 is neutral, pure water. Now here's the fascinating part. Your blood's pH isn't 7. It's 7.35 to 7.45. Slightly basic. That's a tiny range. Just 1/10 of a point. But it's the difference between life and death. If your blood pH drops below 7.0, your organs begin to fail. If it rises above 7.8, your nervous system shuts down. It's like walking a tightrope a few millimeters wide, and your body does it perfectly, every single second. How the body maintains perfect balance. So, how does your body keep blood pH within that razor-thin margin? It does it through an extraordinary team effort, a partnership between your lungs, kidneys, and blood buffers. Let's break that down. 1. The lungs, your rapid response team. Every time you exhale carbon dioxide, you're not just releasing waste gas, you're adjusting your blood chemistry. When CO2 dissolves in your blood, it forms carbonic acid. The more CO2 you have, the more acidic your blood becomes. So, if your blood starts turning too acidic, your brain tells your lungs to breathe faster, exhaling more CO2, reducing acidity. That's why people breathe heavily during panic attacks. It's the body's way of balancing pH. 2. The kidneys, the long-term regulators. Your kidneys act as the slow, steady guardians. They filter blood, reabsorb bicarbonate ions, which neutralize acid, and excrete hydrogen ions when needed. It's like a 24-hour chemical quality control system, one that can fine-tune your pH with incredible precision. 3. The buffers, the instant stabilizers. Blood itself contains special molecules like bicarbonate, hemoglobin, and plasma proteins that absorb excess acids or bases in milliseconds. These buffers are like tiny shock absorbers, preventing wild pH swings between every heartbeat and breath. Together, this system works so well that even when you sprint, eat, stress, or sleep, your pH rarely moves beyond 7.4. It's one of biology's greatest balancing acts. When things go wrong, acidosis and alkalosis. But what happens when that balance fails? Two main conditions occur: acidosis and alkalosis. Let's start with acidosis, when blood becomes too acidic. Acidosis. This can happen for several reasons. If you're not breathing properly and CO2 builds up, called respiratory acidosis. Or if your body produces too much acid, like during kidney disease, diabetic ketoacidosis, or severe dehydration, metabolic acidosis. When blood becomes too acidic, cells struggle to function. Hemoglobin can't carry oxygen efficiently. The nervous system slows down. You feel weak, dizzy, confused, and in extreme cases, you can lose consciousness. Now, on the other side, we have alkalosis, when blood becomes too basic. Alkalosis. This might occur when you breathe too fast, losing too much CO2, respiratory alkalosis. Or when your body loses too many acids through vomiting or certain diuretics, metabolic alkalosis. Alkalosis overstimulates the nervous system. You might feel tingling, muscle cramps, or even seizures. In both cases, the issue isn't the acid or base itself. It's that the delicate balance between them is lost. And that's what makes pH so extraordinary. It's not just a number, it's harmony. The role of CO2, the unsung hero. It's easy to think of carbon dioxide as bad. We breathe it out, plants use it up, and too much of it in the atmosphere causes climate problems. But inside your body, CO2 is essential. It's the silent messenger that tells your brain how to adjust breathing. It regulates acidity, which in turn controls oxygen release. Here's the hidden chemistry. When blood CO2 rises, acidity increases, but this also causes hemoglobin to release oxygen more easily to tissues. This is called the Bohr effect, a perfect example of the body turning a problem into a solution. Without this balance, your muscles wouldn't get enough oxygen during exercise, and your brain would tire faster. So next time you take a deep breath, remember, you're not just breathing for oxygen, you're breathing for pH balance. Myths about alkaline health. Now let's tackle a big myth, the idea that you can change your blood pH by drinking alkaline water or eating special foods. The truth, you can, not meaningfully. Your body's pH system is so tightly regulated that no diet or drink can shift it more than a fraction of a percent. If food or water could really change your blood pH dramatically, you'd be in a hospital. That said, eating healthy, staying hydrated, and supporting kidney and lung function indirectly help maintain balance. Because those organs are part of the regulation system. But no amount of alkaline water can fix blood acidity. Your lungs and kidneys are already doing that millions of times per day. So rather than chasing external fixes, the best way to support your blood pH is to support your body itself. How blood pH affects everything. Blood pH might sound abstract, but it controls almost every biological process. For example, enzyme function. Most enzymes only work at a specific pH. If it changes, metabolism slows or stops. Oxygen transport. Hemoglobin changes shape depending on acidity, controlling how much oxygen is released. Electrolytes. pH influences potassium, calcium, and sodium balance. Critical for heart and nerve function. Immune system. Even immune cell activation depends on pH signaling. This means your pH is constantly communicating with your brain, muscles, and even your DNA. When balance is maintained, you feel alert, strong, and stable. When it's disrupted, fatigue, confusion, or even organ failure can occur. It's a chemical symphony, and you're the conductor. When doctors measure pH. In medicine, blood pH is one of the most important diagnostic markers in emergencies. Doctors measure something called arterial blood gas, ABG, a test that tells them how well your lungs and kidneys are balancing acid and base. If the number drifts even slightly from 7.4, it can signal anything from respiratory failure to metabolic disorders. That's why in critical care, trauma, sepsis, or shock, stabilizing pH is often the first step before anything else your heart can beat, your lungs can move. But if your blood chemistry is off, none of it works properly.